Okay, ladies and gentlemen, black is our next color for the set review. So we can confront the past very quickly. That's our first card, X and a black. And then Liliana is confronting her past on the artwork. So this is a sorcery, a lesson. You can choose one, return target planeswalker card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to your battlefield. Kind of resurrecting Gideon is a joke here. Or you can remove twice X loyalty counters from target planeswalker an opponent controls. So this either gets back planeswalkers or kills planeswalkers. Unfortunately, this is not a planeswalker set. So most likely this card is absolutely unplayable in your deck, but if you have a planeswalker, or God forbid two, you might try. If you have two, you play this card. I think it's quite good then. And otherwise, this is a sideboard. You don't mind this in the sideboard as a late pick because your opponent might have a planeswalker, and then you can learn for it, and then just kill that planeswalker. So yeah, that's quite good. I Witch, again, the confront the past is not a high pick, but if you wheel it, then you might pick it out. I Twitch, sorry, rather. It's an I bet for one, a black, and it's a flying 1/1, which pokes around, and when it dies, you learn. Okay, okay, I think there's enough going on here. It goes into the Inkling deck, right? So the joke here is that this pokes in for like 4 damage, then you start making Inklings, and they don't really want to waste any removal on this, because one, you get back the card, but over this, it's also they can't really kill it on mana parity. Yeah, I mean, I think this has a lot to like now that I'm thinking about it. Now, Lash of Malice does kill it on mana parity, so that's an instant for black, and target creature gets +2, -2. But the Eye Twitch still learns, so there you go. Eye Twitch beats Lash of Malice, but Lash of Malice otherwise is a good card. Like, I think it can, kill early aggression if that ever happens, and then probably can trade up on mana too. Professor's Warning, so it's a black for an instant. You can choose one +1/+1 on target creature, or target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Yeah, I mean, look, if you want a double spell or cast more of these, this is one way of doing it. It's kind of like a counter spell against removal. So there's enough to like here, like maybe it's a sideboard or filler card. Unwilling ingredient. Ooh, that's quite the name. This is a black for a frog with a 1/1 with menace. Those tend to be good though. So they pack in like 4 or 5 damage before they like willing to block these. And that's like a 1 mana lava axe. There you go. And for two and a black, exile this card from a graveyard. You draw a card and you lose a life. Yeah, this card I think is excellent actually. Again, aggression is not a thing really, but this can pack in damage, and then later on you redraw the card. Valentine, Dean of the Wane. Ooh, okay, that's a vampire teacher actually on the front side. So it's 1 mana vampire warlock, 1/1 menace lifelink. Wow. And if a non-token creature or an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. When you do, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with when this token dies, you gain 1 life. Okay, well that's not that strong of an ability, but the Menace lifelink does something. Okay, and then this is a Golgari is a life gain deck, so this triggers your lifelink reliably. Yeah, I think this card is cool. Wow. Cards are excellent. And then on the backside, it's Lisette, Dean of the Root. And it's a human druid. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 1. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and those creatures gain trample until end of turn. Yeah, I mean, and it's a 4/4. So this card is very, very good, I think. Especially in the past deck. Like, if you have any way to, like have your pest die before combat, and you trigger this, like your combat is absolutely bonkers. Yeah, there's a lot to like here. Good early, good late. Yeah, I love this card. Arrogant Poet. So this is 1 and a black for a human warlock. When this creature attacks, you may pay 2 life. If you do, it gains flying until end of turn and do 1. So yeah, so the joke is that you're gonna, like keep parity on life because you pay 2 life for this to not just die to a 1/1 token. That's even a thing in this format. Oh, pass tokens. There you go. Also the better joke is that this goes into the Inkling deck. So this does the first 6 damage, and then the Inklings are doing the rest. So yeah, I think it's a good card in that archetype. Essence Infusion, 1 and a black for sorcery. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains lifelink until end of turn. Poof. Yeah. I mean, This is a good tempo card. Like if you have like a creature which is ahead of its curve, like a 3/3 on turn two or whatever, and they have like a 2/2, then you make a 5/5, and then you gain the life. They can trace it, and then it starts cracking them for 5 every turn. Yeah, it's quite a card. Flunk. So it's a 2 mana instant. Target creature gets -X/-X, where X is 7 minus the number of cards that creatures control assigns. Oh my god. So if they have 6 cards, then this does really nothing. But if they only have like 2 cards, this is a 2 mana -5/-5, yeah? And the game naturally tend to gravitate on normal limited games to having less cards. But again, this is a grindy format, so they might maintain like 6, 7 cards every time. Well, maybe 7 is a stretch, but moral of the story is that this can end up in a position where it never really grows out of the reasonable range. We'll need to see. Hunt for specimens. So that's two and a black. Create a 1/1 black green pest creature token. Yeah, and you learn. So this is your learn card. This is kind of like Demonic Tutor cost. You get Demonic Tutor effect plus like a negligible 1/1. So there you go. Common Demonic Tutor for you. Again, not impressive, but it's good filler, especially if your lesson board is actually big. Leech Familiar, so it's a 2 mana 2/2 human warlock. During your turn, this creature has lifelink. Again, goes to the Golgari deck. I think it's good with the Inklings too, because it lets you race really well, because it gives you a few life, and then the Inklings are chopping away. Yeah, and this goes into two decks, so it's pretty good. As to the Plum of the Forbidden. So it's 2 mana instant. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice one or more creatures. When you do, copy this spell for each creature sacrificed this way. You draw a card and you lose a life. Okay, okay. This one is quite good with pests. Like if you have 3 pests, like come on. Then you are life neutral and like 2 mana, like draw 4. Yeah, on that deck it's good. And so again, same thing. It can, like kind of pseudo counter some removal spells if that comes up. Right, because you select the creature, draw a card, and then if you have like pests lying around, you can cash them in. It's just extra bonus. But yeah, I think it is when it has a role, this card is good. Poet's Quill. So this is a rare 2 mana equipment, one and a black to equip, which is not bad. And when this equipment enters, you learn. Okay, so you get back the card immediately, and the creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink. So again, the lifelink is very good in the Golgari deck, and the +1/+1 lifelink is good with the Inkling because they start racing very well. Yeah, good card. Shelly, Dane of Radiance. Oh yeah, we looked at this. This is the bird. Yeah, this is a good card. Now blacks, the Waxing Pest. So this is the Golgari Mythic, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a legendary pest creature. It's a 3/2 for 3. Other pest bats, insect snakes, and spiders you control get +1/+1. So it's probably the Golgari creatures for the most part. And when it dies, you gain 4 life. Okay, that's not nothing. And then search for blacks is the two black sorcery on the other side. Look at the top 5 cards on your library. You may put a number of them into your hand, or rest in your graveyard. Use 3 life for each card you put into your hand this way. So either you get like 4 mana, look at the top 5, um, and then you get like 1 card for 3 life. That's pretty horrible. But if you have a lot of pass and life and you're willing to sink in like 12 life, now you get like 4 cards. Huh. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of dangerous. But again, you have a creature on the other side. So this card is certainly an A. And then if you can afford the 2/1/1, also the 2 black cost, then yeah, you do that. So there you go. Brackish Truch. So this is a fungus beast for 3 mana for floor to body. It enters tapped. Okay, well, not much going on until now, but for 1 and a black, you can return this card from your graveyard to your hand and activate only if you gain life this turn. Okay, that last text is really good. Like I think that's exactly what a grindy format wants. So like that completely changed my assessment to the card because this as an aggressive card would have been pretty poor, but this as a grindy card is amazing. Like 4/2 is trading with a lot of things. Because of the past, you have ways to gain life, so this can trigger frequently. Yeah, good stuff. Colorless Blood Mage. So this is a 2/1 Vampire Warlock for 3. When this creature enters, choose to either create a 1/1 black or green pest creature. you draw a card and you lose a life, or exile target player's graveyard. Yeah, again, this card I think there's a lot to like here. The flexibility of it, that it can generate a fixed 2 for 1, or it can generate like a pass that can also become like 1.5 for 1. But more importantly, it triggers your synergies, or if your opponent is a heavy graveyard deck, then that helps nuking that problem out. So yeah, solid card. Go blank. It's a 2 mana, 2 and a black, sorry, sorcery. Target player discards 2 cards, then exile that player's graveyard. So Mind Rot with an upgrade. But yeah, I mean it's a filler. You would start probably in the sideboard, but depending on the circumstances, you may bring it in. Necrotic Fumes. So it's 1 black for a sorcery lesson. As an additional cost to cast this spell, exile a creature you control and exile target creature or planeswalker. So this is again the joke is with pass tokens, obviously, which usually doesn't cost you much, and it's a lesson starts at your sideboard. So because of that, I like this card quite a bit. Pestilence Cauldron. Ooh. So this is a 2 and a black. What is this artifact? And you can. Oh, this has a lot of text on it. So let's see. It's gonna be a good card just because of that. So tap, discard a card, create a pest. Okay. Yeah, one land become a pest probably. For 1 and a tap, each opponent mills cards equal to the amount of life you gain this turn. Okay, 1 or 2 cards, so you can mill them slowly. And versus 4 and tap, exile 4 target cards from a single graveyard. You draw a card. Well, there's enough utility going on here that I don't mind casting this side. But let's see what's the sorcery side, which is Restorative Burst. And it's sorcery, return up to 2 target creature, land, or planeswalker cards from your graveyard to hand. Each player gains 4 life, exile it. Yeah, I think there's again enough going on across the 2 cards. I just love the flexibility. Man, like I feel like I'm really gonna love this set. Yeah, wow, it's good cards there. So, okay, so we have a promising Dusk Mage. Let's see how promising this is. So it's a 2 and a black human warlock. When this creature dies, if it had a +1/+1 counter on it, you draw a card, and it's 2/3. Huh, okay. If you can, again, use some of those spells which put counters on this, then this is a 3/4. When it dies, you draw a card. Yeah, that's quite good. Wow, wow, that's good stuff. Sedgemoor Witch. So this is a rare. It's a 2 and a black human warlock. It's a 3/2 and it has menace and a ward pays 3 life. Wow, what an aggressive card. Magecraft. Whenever you cast a copy an instant or sorcery spell, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with when this creature token dies, you gain a life. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what the color combination wants. Good card. Yeah, good card all around. Selfless Gift Raver. So we reviewed already this card. This is good. Umbra Joke. So let's see how Umbra Juke. Sorry. So let's see what's the joke on the Juke. So it's instant. Choose one. Target player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker of their choice. Okay. I mean, it's a token format, so this is probably a lot worse than you would imagine. Or you can create a 2/1 white black inkling creature token with flying. So it's a burst windrake. But there's flexibility in this card, so that should never be underestimated. Um, but you know, yeah, like we'll see how it lines up. That's what I would say here. Barefoot Mastery. So it's a 3 and a black instant. You may pay 1 and a black rather than pay this fast mana cost. If 1 and a black was paid, opponent draws a card and exile target creature or planeswalker. Otherwise, you can just cast it for 4 and like give them a card. I love this card a lot. Like I feel like if you will ever be cornered in a situation where like an early creature comes down and you can't handle it, you can give them a card because you probably still have a better chance of recovering than if you just like lose to that early threat. And if there's no early threats, 4 mana kill anything. Like that's the removal level you want these days. So crushing disappointment. So it's a 4 mana, 3 and a black instant. Each opponent loses 2 life. You draw 2 cards. Oh, okay. I mean, it's not that disappointing. It's definitely a crushing, but yeah, I think it's a filler. Like it's not an excellent card, but if you have it, you play it. Mage Hunter, ooh. So it's a 3 and a black horror. It's 3/4. Whenever an opponent casts or copies an instant or sorcery spell, they lose a life. Wow, it really hunts down the mages. Yeah, I think this can pack in some damage. Like don't underestimate this one because again, a lot of the set is instant and sorceries, so you might end up in a position where this deals 5 damage without ever attacking, right? Mage Hunter's Onslaught. So this is a 2 black black sorcery. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Whenever a creature blocks this turn, its controller loses a life. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's 4 mana, destroy target creature or planeswalker. That's enough on this. But if you have an aggressive deck, then that helps with that too. Novice Dissector. So it's a 3/3 for 4 Troll Warlock who the Hero Giant vibes. And for one, you can sacrifice another creature, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, activate only as a sorcery. Huh. Yeah, yeah, you can sack the past and then get the stats. Huh. Alright, I mean, it's a common. We'll see, we'll see. Auric Lore Mage. So this is also a Hero Giant, or rather a human warlock. So 2 black black for 3/3. Search an library for a card, put it into a graveyard and shuffle. And 2, if it's an instant and sorcery, put a +1/+1 on this creature. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this can grow, for sure. And if you have graveyard shenanigans, this entombs into that. Spectre of Defense. So it's a creature spectre. So it's a 2/3 flyer for 4, which is not bad. And then for 6, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Yeah, I think this card is actually quite excellent in the Inkling deck because it does everything, right? It packs in its own damage, and then, if the skies are actually not blue anymore, so you can just get through, then, start draining them. And probably at that time they are pretty low life total too. Yeah, love this card. Tenured Inkmaster. So this is a 5 mana vampire warlock for 2/2. When this creature enters, pro +1/+1 on target creature. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter it attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Yeah, yeah. I mean, look, it's on attack, so that's not bad. That's like, yeah, I think this card is good with Inkling. Again, the Inklings are flying. Like this really start packing in there. Yeah, yeah, we can grow some of the past too. Um, yeah, but that's not that much. So it's 3/3 worth of stats. Not like super impressive, but also not bad. And then, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Onyx, aka Liliana of the Whale. So it's a 6 mana for black black Liliana Planeswalker. It has loyalty 5. It does have Mage Crop. When you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, each opponent loses 2 life and gain 2 life. Yeah, if this was only this text, it would not be completely unplayable already. If it was cheaper, then it would be actually good. Because 2 life drain is pretty significant. And then for +1, use a life. Look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them in your hand, rest in your graveyard. So it's anticipate, except that it throws down the rest of it. And for -3, each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls. So it's exactly what you want from the sacrifice outlet to target their best creature. This does that. Each opponent, for -8, each opponent may discard a card. If they don't, they lose 3 life. Repeat this process 6 more times. Whoa! So either you mind twist them or just kill them if they don't have enough cards. Yeah, no, this is solid. This is a bomb of a planeswalker. When you cast this, you're gonna be happy. Now you just need to drag out the game, and this is gonna win it for you. And yeah, Professor Onyx is excellent. Like it's like an A. So yeah, no, thanks for watching. We're gonna move on to red shortly, and see you on that video.